Being John Malkovich. Being John Malkovich is a film directed by Spike Jonze, written by Charlie Kaufman, starring John Cusack, Cameron Diaz, Catherine Keener, and of course,
Malkovich!
John Malkovich. Now the film is about a puppeteer, Craig Schwartz, played by John Cusack, who finds himself working as a file clerk on the 7th floor in Leicester Core. And on the 7th floor, he finds a portal that leads into the mind of acclaimed actor John Malkovich. Now I know what you're all thinking. Who the fuck is John Malkovich? Well, Malkovich is an actor who's very well known for being in that Jewel Thief movie. But in this film, it's less about who he is and more like what he represents. And Being John Malkovich is a postmodern film in every sense of the word, in the sense of style, and it's also a postmodern film because of its theming, because of the thematic sense. And so me, along with my teammates Jenya, Alex, Philip, and Jorge, are here to talk to you about the film Being John Malkovich and the postmodern themes that are present in the movie. To start us off with Adorno and Horkheimer, Jorge should start us off, so there you go.
Being John Malkovich is a movie that illustrates a lot of philosophical concepts, and one of those concepts is the culture industry, stated by two of the members of the Frankfurt School, Adorno and Horkheimer. But in order to realize the presence of this concept in the movie, one has to watch the movie more than once. Therefore, the presence of this concept in the movie is pretty subtle compared to other concepts. But the first scene illustrates pretty well this concept. In fact, as the scene starts, Craig, an unemployed puppeteer and the main character of the movie, is watching on TV the performance of another puppeteer, but this puppeteer isn't raising issues in his performance. So besides Craig, there is a monkey, and Craig calls the chimp fortunate because... So this scene shows that there is someone in power, in this case the media industry, and it is the media industry that is preventing Craig from doing his performances, because in those performances he's raising issues and the media industry doesn't want those issues to be raised. But in the movie we never see a member of this industry directly preventing Craig from doing his job. Therefore, the industry is preventing Craig from doing his job indirectly by implementing social values. So it is society that is preventing Craig from being a puppeteer and doing his performances that raise social values. So in one example, in another scene, Craig is performing on the street, and there is a man who watches his performance, and after watching his performance he thinks that the issues that he raised shouldn't be raised, so he ends up beating up Craig. So these two examples show that it is society who is preventing Craig from doing the art of puppetry, because he raises issues with his performances about the values that the culture industry has implanted on society. So this relates to the concept of Adorno and Horkheimer.
Thank you. And yeah, that's very interesting to think about how the media influences that, and how Schwartz is still the same person, yet the notoriety of the name of Malkovich is what has generated him into a more successful person. Another person who enters Malkovich and changes drastically is Craig Schwartz's wife, Lottie. And Lottie's story arc is very interesting to talk about when it comes to feminist ideals from thinkers such as Judith Butler. And Jenya and Alex will now talk about that and how that relates.
So hi everyone, Mia talks about the film being John Malkovich and more precisely about some parts of the movie that can be related to Judith Butler's ideas. So as you all know, Judith Butler is an American philosopher and a gender theorist that talks about gender performativity, and she argues that gender is nothing more than a performance. She says that people are not born with a gender, but it's created by the society, and therefore people have to follow some norms to be seen as men or women. So one of the moments when Judith Butler's ideas are supported by the movie is when Lottie accesses the mind of John Malkovich, and after experiencing life through Malkovich, says that it felt right, you know? So this is the moment in the movie when Lottie realized that she feels better in a male's body than in her own. So it shows us that Lottie only imitated the image of a woman by being married to Craig Schwartz, even though she saw no interest in this marriage. So in other words, her gender was only a performance, and all she was trying to do is to fall into the norms of a woman, even if it didn't make her happy. So after living John Malkovich's life for 15 minutes, she realizes that she's not a woman in the inside and accepts the fact that she will be happier if she will be a man. So Lottie finds out that the male exterior of John Malkovich matched her internal feelings and the way she perceives her to be better than her own. So this situation proves that people can be born with a gender but can choose to live with another one. In the movie, this idea is also proved by the fact that John Malkovich himself can be either male or female, even if his body is male. And we can see that when John Malkovich accesses his own mind and sees himself as male or female. So it's basically John Malkovich with his face, but he's dressed either in male or female. So this once again supports this idea of Judith Butler that a person can be male or female regardless of the body he or she is in.
In the movie, Lottie falls in love with Maxine. Throughout their relationship, Maxine does many actions that we can link with Judith Butler's ideas. For example, when Lottie, Craig, and her are at Craig's house for dinner, she explains to Craig that she does not find him attractive, and to Lottie that she can't love her while she isn't in Malkovich's body. This shows that she has feelings for the female gender, although she still has relationships with the male gender. This also shows how she reinforces the gender differences and stereotypes that are present in our society. At one point in the story, she learns that Craig tricked her into thinking that it was Lottie that was in Malkovich's body during their sexual relationships, since he is fully in control of Malkovich's body. But she decides to continue to live with him even though we know that she has feelings for Lottie. It is only at the end of the story that Maxine finally accepts to be with Lottie in her own body and live the rest of her life with her.
What's interesting about the character of Lottie, and a lot of the characters in this movie, are the actors who portray all these characters. Malkovich, for example, is actually playing John Malkovich, and it's interesting to see this guy who's not exactly the most desirable of male actors to be the most desired vessel for all these people because of the notoriety behind him. And it's also interesting to see Cameron Diaz play Lottie, and most of you know Cameron Diaz is usually known for being a bombshell, and yet in here she's not exactly hot in a sense. And the film doesn't only look at celebrity in the film, it also looks at celebrity.
I'm making him weep, John.
Our emotions
You're
of
making him weep, but you
life,
yourself are not weeping.
The cultural text.
Don't ever f with your audience
text that we
until
associate with
the puppet.
all of these actors in real life. And to top us off, we will have Philip talking to us about Michel Foucault and the Panopticon and how that can relate to John Malkovich, specifically the vessel of John Malkovich. So carry on.
Hi, my name is Philip, and I'm going to relate the movie that we watch, being John Malkovich, to Foucault, more precisely his idea of the Panopticon. And well, while talking about the famous Panopticon, Foucault said that it doesn't matter who uses the power because anyone can control the machine once it's available. And if we compare it to the movie, in this case John Malkovich being the Panopticon, anyone can enter him and use him.
Excuse me, sir. Exactly what type of service does this company provide?
You get to be John Malkovich for 15 minutes. 200 clams.
However, Craig the Puppeteer is the only one who can use this machine to its full capacity, because he can stay, unlike the rules, longer than 15 minutes and like move the vessel of Malkovich. And while still comparing Foucault's Panopticon to Craig's Malkovich, we can see that they are both a personal lab for experience. And well, based on what we have seen in class, the Panopticon is used to control people's subconscious, to alter their behavior, and to be a prison by training and correcting individuals. But there's also a difference between both. Not only does Craig uses Malkovich to alter the behavior of the ones around him, but it also changes his Panopticon, which is in this case Malkovich's vessel, by making differences in his way of acting and his physical traits. And both machines are similar in the fact that they provide the one who controls them with the ability to observe without being seen. And however, the difference between the two of them is that the Panopticon is a design structure that is made to have an impact on what is around it, but not on the structure itself. While on the other hand, Malkovich's body has the same power, which is to have an impact on the outside. But in this case, there's also an impact on the inside, which is Malkovich, his mind, and also his physical body, meaning the structure. And we can observe those obvious changes made by Craig's presence in his body just by seeing the long hair he developed during the movie, and also just by the way he stands and walks. There's also a lot of other changes that we can see, just like we can observe that Malkovich ceases to exist once Lester takes permanent control over his body, and we can see that even continuing his friendship with Charlie Sheen at the end of the movie, Malkovich isn't there, it's Lester talking. He has developed a new way of talking and new interests, which proves that he doesn't exist anymore. And well, those are the comparisons that we can make between Foucault's idea and the movie, which proves that the Panopticon has similarities but also differences.
So, in conclusion, Charlie Kaufman's first claim to fame with being John Malkovich is a brilliant postmodern film, both in its aesthetics and its themes. While still crafting an entertaining plot, Kaufman managed to write a story that delved into what it means to be anything at all, by looking at what we would rather be, how we see others, and how they see us. Alright, well, I guess that's it for today. Thank you very much for your time. I hope this video was pretty decent, and have a safe drive home, tip your waitresses, and see you around.
It's my head, Schwartz! It's my head!